So let's continue with our training one. So you can create Photoshop in different sizes according to the requirement you have.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to create posters like these,
Mm-hmm.
but what I will tell you is like eventually how to make posters like these. So you see this. This is my first poster on this Acro Zumba. After that, this came. After that, this little one, and then I added a little bit, and it came like this. Finally, okay. So we try to save it in different names so that it doesn't become a problem for you. If you want to go back to your original design, you can go back. So that comes in designing part of it. Okay. Now let's go to the editing part of Photoshop. Okay, like opening a simple image and editing it little bit, not to give a little more style and complexion to it. Like as you said, how to make that kind of picture, right? So you can do two things here. You can create a new picture like this, like an empty plate, and you can just add a lot of pictures to it and design something like this. Okay. So I have quite some few designs. I'll just show it to you. So let's just go to photography, pictures, designs. So here, it doesn't give you a preview. Just kidding. No, it's not giving you a preview. So this one, and I think I'll put it most of the stuff online. Show to you. So if you see here in the photo session, this is one of the edited picture. Okay, just take the normal picture and edit it this way. Now if you see the normal picture, it doesn't look like this at all. Like you see the star here.
Moon.
Yeah, it's a star. It's not a moon. Moon was much closer. You can see the actual shape of the moon, but this is the star. I'll show you the original picture of this one.
You remember where the photos are?
Yeah, it's
So many folders you must be having.
In here somewhere it will come.
So this is with your this camera.
Huh.
मेरे कैमरे से तो आएगा ही नहीं है.
It will come. Doesn't matter. You need to have the right setting for it. If I can click, you can also click. So this is the one, right? This is the one. Do you see this? That's the one which is over here. This one and this one are same.
Yeah.
Both are same.
This is more clear.
Here. But you see the mountains and all over here?
There's no mountain.
It's a Photoshop.
Okay.
This is what we do in Photoshop. We create such things which doesn't exist. And we'll give a nice touch to it.
Show me the other one once.
See the star? It's shining bright, right? So you can see the rays of that. It's all captured in one shot. So this is the original picture. Okay, this is how it was, and this is how it can be after Photoshop editing. Lot of hard work, but we captured it on video. You can check it out on the video on my YouTube page. So go to photography, GeeksIdea editing, and you will get the video. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's how it is. So using this simple picture, we were able to Photoshop it to this one. And I'll just show you one more of this one. We just modified it to this one. Okay, so these are the stuff we can create in Photoshop.
But this is looking more animated, right?
Yes, this is like alien sky.
Okay.
It's looks like not something earthly looking ones. But this one is like a little bit modified, a little bit added textures on the sides and make it round shaped vignetting, and it gives you a nice texture of concentrating on the middle and somewhere on the backgrounds and stuff. So this gives you a nice touch towards the picture. That's why we are doing editing for. Okay, so that's one of the pictures, and there are so many pictures which we have edited.
So these are edited ones.
Yeah, everything will be little bit
I want to click
touched.
such photos.
You will eventually when you come for our trips and all those things. This is clicked on our trip,
This is so good.
isn't it?
Beautiful.
So we went for Ooty trip. That's why we clicked this one. We clicked like these are some from Ooty trip. We got all these from all these the flowers and stuff.
Wow.
And this one is from Ooty trip. My latest pictures I have not uploaded it, but yeah, we'll do it. But this is what we are expecting you to do in
So
Photoshop.
that tap and water.
Border that because of the higher
Shutter
speed.
speed.
Yeah. Okay, so
All manual mode you play.
yeah, everyone clicks is manual mode nowadays. After the training, it will be all manual mode. If you still click it in automatic mode, then there's no point of taking the training.
No, I like more this manual mode. I didn't know about manual mode at
Okay.
all. I was
Okay.
putting my head in aperture, then in shutter speed, but of all bullshit possible and confused at the end.
I get it. It's nothing to blame there, but it's without proper training, you cannot just
I
click
agree.
things. So you see this is my picture. Okay, let's take this. I guess my picture is amazing. So let's take this one. Let's just go. You see this? Okay, so many spots on his face, but it looks good, right? So just move it. This is a JPEG file. You cannot expect it. It just opens normally like editing.
Okay.
In Photoshop, on the left side you have toolbar where you can select the tools. On the top you have the configuration of these toolbars. So these toolbars configuration, like the size, the varieties of it. So everything will be on the top of it. The right side you have the normal ones, like you have the layers, channels, paths, and history. Layers is basically like this is the primary layer. Okay, this is the primary layer which available. Okay, this is where the entire picture is on. Okay. Now you wanna modify on this layer. Yes, you can do it, not a problem. But would you modify on an original picture? No, we don't. Right? What we do is like if you have original picture, we put a plastic paper or some kind of a transparent paper on top of it, and then modify it there. So when you remove the transparent paper, you still have the original available. This is something like that is called layer here. You create a new layer, and then in this layer you can make the changes rather than making on this one. So if you don't like the changes you made, you can just remove it. You can throw that changes on the recycle bin. So this is basically to isolate the changes which you're doing on the background to the foreground changes. Okay, the foreground will happen on layers, so you can create any many layers you want, and you don't like it, you hold shift and select all of them and throw it in the dustbin. Okay, so normally we lock this one. Why we lock it? Because we make sure that no modification is not done on this one, so we lock it. So we just put another layer on top of that, we'll do the changes. So let's go inside this picture. This is a JPEG file.
So now you have clicked layer, so we are working on the layer.
Yeah, you will see it now. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to do some crazy stuff. I'm going to erase. There's a little magic eraser, so it erases the different stuff in his face, different colors. Wow, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's working.
Let me just try something else. So I've cleared this one, right? Okay. Now I made some changes. Now if you see, if I, this is like seeing, now you are seeing it. Now when you don't see it, you see that spot because it's coming from the original layer. Okay, and when you see it, you see that spot is removed. When you don't see this, then you can see this one, whatever you selected previously, because you are only seeing the layer, this layer. Okay, so whatever the changes you are doing it on top of this layer. Okay, so like click on this one, click on that one, and then do the changes. Right? So this way we are clearing it off. Like you can also clear it off here as well. So this is one way of doing it. So I'll tell you about this. Okay, to go from the beginning. So this is the selection key. Okay, so this is basically the move tool. So when you right click it, you will get more options. Okay, or in the same category. So move tool. So basically you can select the changes and move it anywhere you like. There's only the changes which you have made, or you can just select it and delete the changes which you have done. So that layer is deleted. Okay, like that you can do. This is the selection tool. Like you want to select a rectangle layer. You wanna select a circle layer. Okay, like that you wanna select. Now why we select can be for coloring or something like that. So I select this area and I go to this paint tool. This is the paint bucket. Okay, so I choose a color and I put it on that. Why we did that? Just to select a specific area and apply a color. I select a specific area and cut that layer. You can see that. Right click, I can go to this one, and I right click. I can go to the selection one, and right click, I can cut via another layer. So what I do is like I make I select it. Could not make this new layer empty. Okay. Okay, so what it's saying is like this is already empty layer, so it is saying that. So I'm going to this one and I'm right clicking and copy. It's locked, so I'll lock it. Cut via the layer. So what I've done is like I've removed this part from that layer and put it over this one. So like that I've done. Okay. So now you want to go back to the previous thing you did. You want to look at the history. So the history is there. So what this history does is like you can go back to anything which you did recently. Okay. Or you can go back to the open one. Open one is like when you open the picture. But remember, when you go back to this layer, right, and then you do modification, all these things below it will be gone. Okay, because you're doing the changes. If you go for a before layer, okay, if you go for like the history which is before, like for example, you're choosing the magic eraser, okay, you did some erasing thing, right, and then you go over there, and then you do modification, all these things will be gone.
Then again do the whole thing.
If you want that to be, so you have to be careful on what you're going back on the history, but it gives you an option to go back on the history. Okay. So let's go back to open image.
Now these all are gone.
Now this will be gone if I touch anything. Like if I do some modification, right? See that I'm making it. So all these are gone below. I can do a Control Z. I can give one option. Control Z is to go back. Okay. So I do this and I do Control Z. I'll get back to all this history. But I do this and I do one more time, then I cannot come back because I can use Control Z for only one time.
Okay, like undo.
Yes.
There's undo goes
only
for
once.
3 steps.
Yes. It's like if I do a modification and I go back from the modification, I can do a Control Z. If I do 2 modification, I want to go back 2 times back, I cannot do that. Because it will go only one time back and one time forward. Like Control Z is worked for both the things. So you have to remember those things before doing that. That's basically that tool. Okay. So this is the selection tool, and this is like selection tool with more control on it. Like for example, the lasso tool is basically a line-based tool. Okay, I have to create a new layer.
So for every change, you need to change the layer.
Yes, if you want a nice picture. If I open my previous design, you will find so many layers there, like 50 layers or something. Why so many layers? Because I can isolate each changes to a different layer. So what I can do is like I can move this toolbox outside and I make it bigger and I see the changes like this.
So every layer, all the changes it will.
Yes, every layer I will give a different name to it. For example, if I'm changing, I'm using the healing brush to heal him, right? I change the name to heal. Okay. So I understand that what this layer does to him. Okay. If you don't like it, just put it back inside. You can just drag it back inside this. So you can just put it anywhere you want. Photoshop gives you the liberty for that. Okay. So now, if you see, when I use the healing brush, right, you can see that sometimes the color changes. Like it changes to white. So what you can do is like you can decrease the amount and increase the amount that it wants to do that. If you're gonna increase it to a larger place, right, it's gonna give a lot of problems. So we normally we wanna completely come to that level and do the changes.
Small, so that
exactly, so that it doesn't look very different from when you zoomed out. Okay. You saw that? No? That's it. You can also select another tool called clone stamp. What it does is like takes a clone from an existing location and stamps it everywhere. Like for example, you want something like this to be applied everywhere, so you use the clone stamp.
Cloning. So the color tone will be same.
Yes. See that now?
Better. That white spots are seen.
You cannot do anything for that.
Oh, it will be there.
Which white spots you're doing?
See here.
Yeah. This is because the flash.
Okay.
Soft light. It was there before also. If you don't do it right, it's still there, right? Still there. Yeah, right. You cannot do anything to it. What we can do is like we can make it merge with the background. That I'll tell you how to do it now. Okay. Now you have this thing. Okay. Next thing is like selecting some layers. So we use this quick selection tool to select different. First thing what you're gonna do is like you have to experiment with all the tools. You can see this video which I'll put online, and you can select. You can understand each of this, what it does and stuff. Okay. This is called quick selection tool. Crap. I'm selecting his face. Okay. Now I wanna like give him a smooth look on his face. Okay. How can I do that? But that smooth look should not come to his eyes. So what I'm doing is like I'm deselecting his eyes. Only his eyes. Okay. You can see that I'm deselecting his eyes. Only the eyeballs. And a little bit of his lips also. Okay. So that it should look crisp and clear. Okay. So when I'm deselecting a layer, something, right, I hold Alt. Okay. When I'm selecting, I don't hold anything. Okay. Now you see this from his entire face, his eyes, his lips is like deselected. Okay. So if I want to select it, I leave Alt and then I press those areas and it kind of gets selected. Okay. So I select the areas and I deselect the areas which wants to look sharp and I blur it. There is different types of blur available. So this time I will be doing something called surface blur. Okay. Surface blur lets you to smoothen the skin surface. You see that right? So this is before, this is after. before.
Ah.
You see that so much
That.
of area is there.
Ah.
Now it's after this. So just give okay. Now if you see his picture, you see the smoothness in his picture, but not his eyes. On his eyes, it's not that smooth. Okay, in his lips is pretty strong. Okay, you can go back to the same thing, and you can apply more blurriness to his. So go back to quick selection. This is how it is before, right? So go back to this filter again, blur, and then surface blur. In here, what you can do is that you can increase the threshold. Now you see that?
Okay.
Decrease it. You see that?
So
you
more the
increase
threshold,
it.
less the pores are seen.
See here. This is like the radius.
Okay.
You can put it in such a way that it really works for him, whichever way he is working. Okay, you can see in a bigger way also. Okay, like you can make the radius high, or you have to check. Each one have different skin tones, right? So you have to check which one suits for them. You okay. Deselect and see the effect taking place. This is how we smoothen the skin too, because he has a very rough skin. Right? Now let's save this picture as a copy. Okay. So now this is the previous picture, and this is after editing. Which is good.
Obviously.
This one is controlled. Everything is controlled. You can see his face, tones, and stuff. You can see his. It's not completely blurred, but a little bit of it's highlighted. Only his face is a little bit blurred, and that's what we wanted, because here it is very rough. Okay, but if you like the same look, it's fine. You can go with the same look as well. Like sometimes I like the other look of him. Okay, so I don't go to the blur much. I don't. I still blur it, but very little bit, very tiny radius. I want that sharpness to be there on his face, so I gave 2 radius. So here you see, you don't see like it's blurred at all, but it's a little bit blurred. Like this also you can do. It depends on your taste and what you want to do with the picture. Here. So much for that. And let me open a raw file and see. I'll show you how it is. So let me open this one. So why I create JPEG is like to check the picture. If I'm gonna open this raw file, it's gonna take time. You see that?
Okay.
It's taking time, right? So that's why I opened the JPEG file, because it's really faster, and you can zoom in a little bit and see if the picture is blurred or not blurred. This one is good, so we'll just take this one. No, I think this one is good. It's just a little bright, so we'll take this one. I'm just dragging and dropping into the Photoshop. And then here is the first basic optimization of your picture. Now when you open the picture as raw, it's going to give you the raw image, as in like it's going to give you the raw, however the camera captured the picture, it's going to give you that way. Okay, it's not going to give you in any specific way, it's going to give you in that particular way where how the picture was captured by your camera. Okay, so a JPEG file will be different. Now if you see the difference between this file and this file, okay, you see that this file and this file, which one do you like?
The last one.
You see that this one is edited, this one is not edited, like how it is clicked. Okay, so raw files are like not edited file, and JPEG when it exports, right, it adds a little more color and stuff, and it exports like that. Okay, but this time my raw file was much good than the JPEG itself. Okay, because that's how we try to shoot. Here is the temperature You can go for cool or for hot, so you can adjust this temperature you want. As of now, you can go for as short, and you have preset ones like auto. You have daylight. You have cloudy. Different type of
we have options. These options in
the camera as well. Okay.
phones.
In the phones also, yes. It's called white balance.
Mm.
Okay, so you can adjust it in Photoshop in the way you want it without spoiling the clarity of the picture. You can make it greener or redder. It's up to you. It's basically the tint. So whichever is nice, you can just go for it. And then you can go for auto or default. So this picture is perfect. We don't need to edit anything. But if you need anything to edit, you can go for auto and see how the computer is calibrating the exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks in the picture. On the top, you have the histogram, the same histogram which I talked to you. So what did I say about histogram? Histogram has left and right side, right? Left is underexposed and right is overexposed. Okay.
Yeah.
So here you see there are blocks. So this block says blacks, this block says shadow, this block says exposure, this block says highlight, and this block says white. Okay. So if the hill is on the right side, it means it's a overexposed picture. If the hill is on the left side, it means underexposed picture. So now if you see the exposure are moving towards the left side, you can see the hill is going to the left side. Do you see that? Which means it says that it's a
underexposed.
when I move it to the right side, it becomes
Overexposed.
perfect. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so here is the setting for it. The exposure gets you to underexposed and overexpose the picture, but let it be default because this looks perfectly fine. So a little bit underexposure required for the background. You can also hold Alt and press this. You will see that the little bit exposed the area. You see the white color? That's exposed. It's saying like it's too much light over there. So I have to hold this exposure bar and hold the Alt key and tell me the exposure. But this is fine. The overall exposure is good. You have to see the overall exposure. Just because it says like you try to reduce it, right? So you're trying to reduce it. It's getting reduced. See, the overall picture is also reduced as brightness. So you should not worry about that in terms of exposure. What you have to worry is like the overall exposure, because this particular area you can tune it later also, because there are so many options here. Okay. So next is contrast. Contrast get you for a nice darker image or brighter image. Like you can see that there is no contrast in this picture, but here you get a lot of details and contrast. So a little bit on the higher side is always good. Highlights is another factor of affecting this white thing. Okay, so it could be either highlights or whites. You can take care of this either by this way. There are different colors, it tells you. Okay, whites normally come in different colors. Highlights comes in white color. You see this one, you can see all these places are like too much of white right now because I'm on the right side end of white. Okay, so if I go to middle, you can see that the whites are reduced. Okay, whites is very important for your image. Now when I go right, you can see the histogram also. You see that things are going to the right side, right? So you should always balance it. Okay, so I come to highlight and reduce that amount of light. So you see that right now this line is over here, right? So I'm coming to highlights, I'm reducing it. Now you can see that my graph is becoming the mountains are becoming bigger, but it's not moving to any side. It's because of the highlights. So basically I'm reducing and increasing the highlights here. So I've just removed all those unwanted lights from this area. So see, you will be able to see it when you concentrate on this area of the picture. Do you see that? Do you see the difference on the area? Yeah. So that's basically it. So I'll just go to this end where it disappears, that light disappears. And then the shadows next. The shadows can be, you cannot see the shadows here. There's not too much of shadow, but on the right side, you see the yellow line? That's basically shadows. So this area it says. So if I'm opening up the shadow, right, you can see that there's no shadow on the
There is shadow, no?
Now it is.
Uh-huh.
Now it's not because we have
Okay.
removed it.
Uh-huh.
It cannot remove like everything, but little bit only it can do. Okay. Um, we won't go beyond 80 percentage. 60 percentage is maximum. So if I go here, right, you see the numbers. It says plus 60. That's the maximum. We won't go 80 because what happens? It spoils the picture. Okay. So that's why in the we should click in such a way that you don't need editing.
Okay.
You understand? Editing is just for correcting the pimples and spots on the face. You understand? That you
Yes.
cannot control in any way.
Correct.
But what can you control is these things.
Okay.
Clear? Any questions? No?
No.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So in raw pictures we have all these possibilities.
Options
Okay.
to
Not
tune.
in basic.
In RAW,
JPEG.
JPEG, you won't get anything. Okay.
We can only do all that Photoshop, like what you showed. That drives.
Yeah. Just correcting pimples and stuff, but adjusting the lights and darkness you can do only in RAW without breaking the picture. You can also do it in JPEGs, but the problem is like the JPEG pixel breaks.
Okay.
Okay. So here you get some kind of at least little bit of things over here. So this is blacks, just like whites we have blacks. Here means more black, less black. Okay. So we just leave it in the medium because I am okay with the blacks. So this is clarity. You can make this picture without clarity, or you can give more clarity to the picture.
Okay.
Okay, whichever you like. Okay, so I would leave it like in the midst. Okay, on the sides of it. It's too much. When you create clarity, right, you get noises on the picture. So this is the noise you get on the picture.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. You reached? Okay. I'm not sure where it is. You can check it on Google Map. Brookfield Mall. Yeah. Thanks. Bye. Okay. So you can move it accordingly, whichever you like. Next is vibrance. Vibrance gets you a little bit of color to your picture. You can add more or less, like it becomes black and white kind of thing. Okay, so just a little bit of vibrance. And saturation is like every color which is already there to saturate more to become something extraordinary. You see that the color changes, right? So this is basically the saturation. So I would say like little bit of saturation. I mean, I won't go beyond 8. But vibrance is like I go beyond 12 to 15, somewhere 10 to 15 is what I go for vibrance. Okay, so these are just to add colors to your picture, nothing else. The next one is like the tone curve. So this is the tone curve which you can modify it manually. So as I said, left is dark and right is brightness. Then this is the chart. This is when you compile the chart together, it comes like this. Okay, so I can drag and drop this anywhere I like. Can make it like look like anything. Okay, so you can hold it in any angle and change it, twist it. Okay, so that's basically it. So this parametric is basically controlling using the same thing only, but controlling using the highlights, lights, dark and shadows. If you're not able to control amount of light, if it's really overexposed, you first try it there in the basic setting and you come over here and try it over here. Try to reduce the lights, try to reduce the highlights here. This is also another option to do that. Okay, so let's just go to 0 over here. the same thing goes for darken shadows. Okay, and then here is the sharpening details. Like if you want the picture to be more sharpened, you can come over here. So you can see the details here. This is like without sharpening. You can apply radius also for more sharpened layers. The details, how detailed you want the sharpening to be. But normally we don't keep any sharpening as of now. And when you have a very sharpened picture, or if you think like this is too sharp, okay, you can go for noise reduction. So you can see that I'm just increasing the noise reduction over here. So whatever the sharpened area you have, just give me 1 second. Okay, so noise reduction is for reducing the amount of noise on your picture. So you can see that noise is basically when you sharpen the image, right, or when you go for higher ISO, you'll get noises on a picture. The noises would be like this. Okay, you see that it's becoming somewhat rough, isn't it? So to reduce that noise, we use noise reduction. You can see that it has softened the picture a little bit. I'll just give you another example. Let's just close this one up and then go here. Here you have clarity, right? When I increase clarity, you get a lot of noise.
Okay.
You get the spots, right? These are called noises. Okay. So when you get this noise, right, you want to reduce the noise, so you come to noise reduction. You can see that it is reducing some kind of a noise over here. Okay. So basically it's for that. But normally we won't have noises on a normal regular day. But if you are going for nighttime photography and stuff, then you will get more noises because of the ISO, higher ISO. If you have higher ISO, you will get more noise. So you have to come over here and increase the noise reduction, and then you will have a good picture. Okay. So this is luminance, saturation, hue. This is called HSR. And grayscale. Grayscale is nothing but converting it to black and white picture. Okay. So if you don't want to convert, you can select a specific color and change the color of it. For example, her lips color is like almost this red. It's changing. Her entire body tone is changing. For this one thing, it's more of a body tone. Let me check this one. This is also not working. See that? Lips is working now. The same color. So you can change the color of it because this is the same color pattern. Only that color changes, which is relevant to that. You see green, right? See that? Background. Okay. So likewise, you can make changes to the color. You have 3 options. At least that color will be one of these options because you have different tones here. Okay. Split toning is basically like for the highlights and shadows. So basically, toning your shadows and highlight colors in that highlighted and shadow places. Won't use much. And lens correction is basically like there is something called chromatic aberration. So it happens in a lot of lenses. Lenses, if you see on a real time, it will be bended, right? So when you take a picture in 18mm, the picture will be sort of bended. Okay, like you won't be seeing it. You cannot recognize it until you correct the problem. Okay, so for example, if you see like this I don't think it has any problem with this picture, but we will try to remove chromatic aberration, enable profile correction. Now if I see, you see that?
Yeah.
What is the difference between that and this? It is becoming more straight. Now you can see that when I select that, you can see my camera, mic and lens, and the version number is changing. So you have all the versions of Nikon lenses over here. Okay. Now if I go for fisheye lenses, right, like 10mm lenses, okay, so I'll go for a very I think that would do it. So if I go for 10 mm lenses, right, you will see it is changing a lot, right?
So how we are doing? You have clicked it from.
Ah,
You have clicked it from your camera,
yes.
and these are what?
These are the different options you get in Nikon. These are the different lenses. For suppose like you have clicked it from another lens, right? So it will choose from that lens, like 85
Okay.
mm. So it will adjust accordingly, because Photoshop knows what are the problem with the lens.
Okay, so if I'm clicking from my lens,
Mhm.
but I
And
can.
you have a Canon, okay? So you have to select the Canon here. Canon, and then you have to select this. Choose the lens for that
Mine
Canon.
is Nikon.
No, I'm just telling you,
Ah.
for example. But it will already read from the from your metadata,
Correct.
and it will take the correct lens and profile it basically.
Okay.
So if you disable it and you want to do it manually, then you go to manual, and then you can change the distortion. Fisheye lenses will give you this kind of a view. Like you see the view of fisheye lenses, right? See, this is how the picture will be of fisheye lenses.
Okay. Okay.
You get it?
So you mean to say that though the photo has been taken from my lens, I can view how will it look from different lenses?
No.
Then?
You can correct the chromatic aberration. You see this? This is the normal picture. This is fisheye picture.
Okay.
When you process this fisheye lens picture in your Photoshop, you want to make it normal, right?
Okay.
Then what you do is like you select the profile of the fisheye lens, and then you tell the Photoshop to correct it accordingly, and it automatically corrects your picture and makes it straight.
Okay.
This is how it should look like. You get it?
Okay.
So basically, what happens is like it a little bit spoils your stuff. But this is how the fisheye lenses are for. Fisheye lenses are for taking pictures like these. But distortion happens just like that. There is no reason for having a distortion. Okay?
When you straighten it.
When you straighten it, it becomes a normal picture.
Okay.
When it turns, it becomes a distorted picture. Okay? So that's how it is. Any questions on this one?
But how it is important?
It's important because when you take pictures in 18 mm, okay, it comes distorted. The picture will be distorted, and you will not notice it until you put it over here and do it. I don't know if I have the picture. I don't have it. I don't have it. Normally I had this picture where I just took it for an example. I don't have it. So what happened is like in my training, I used to take your camera and I click your picture, and it becomes like this. In 18 mm, it becomes more or less like this. But when I correct it, it becomes proper. It won't be like this, but it'll be somewhat like twisted. Okay. It happens. What you can do is like you can go home, take your.
I'll just show something. Like in this happens in camera scanner. When I scan something.
Yeah. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
You open that picture.
It is straight, it becomes round.
The picture, normally it will be like this.
Okay.
How? It will be like this. But you will not understand. You see like it's a good picture. That's what you think. But it actually is rounded. How do you know? When I just do it like this. You see that it becomes straight now.
Okay.
Do you see that? Do you get the difference now?
Yes.
You see that now it is straight. Previously it was like this. Right? This is called distorted picture. A picture.
How would I know the picture is coming here?
If you come here,
okay,
you have to come here to this lens correction. Go to profiles, remove, and then enable. Then you will get to see this way. So this is the actual method. But you have done a little bit of manual stuff, so we just have to go to 0. And this is the actual picture, how it should be. Without this, it was like, you see that this area was going inside a bit. So now it just came outside. Okay, this is how we can identify it. And then vignetting is also one of the stuff. And then purple haze. Sometimes you will get purple haze. It's called when you go for like a very 85 mm or 35 mm, when you take picture of buildings and stuff, you will get purple color haze on the side of the windows and stuff.
okay.
So you just come here and adjust the level of purple haze you have on the picture, and that's basically will reduce the purple haze or purple amount in the picture. Okay, you can see that now it's removing the purple amount in the picture. Now you'll see like very little marginal purple will be removed. Very little. I mean, you can't even see this.
Yeah.
Here it is. It is here actually. See that? It's more purplish tint.
No, I can
Very little. If you can't see it, it happens little bit, very little. So this is also green amount, to remove the green amount in the picture. Okay, it's for removing the green haze. Okay, and this is for vignetting. This you can see it like very nicely. So you can go for white color vignetting. You can go for dark color vignetting. So what is the difference? You see that on the corners,
black.
white color right now,
Yeah.
and then now it's black color. Okay, it's for that. Okay, vignetting has a separate session itself. Like this is the section for vignetting. But before this, special effects, there is this dehaze effect. So this basically gives you like a foggy effect kind of thing. Okay, and this is the grains. You can add amount of grains. Like if you're taking a video and stuff, you see the grains here on a face. There's no grain with grain. So you can wantedly add grains to the picture as an effect. Okay, and you can also add vignetting to the picture. So you see this. I'll go for a darker one because I always like the darker ones. And you can make the midpoint on the left, right. You can go closer to the midpoint or farther away from the midpoint, and you can give more roundness to that. Shapes you can give roundness or box. Okay, and here feather. How much feather you want? More feather or no feather?
Feather is?
Feather is like you see this.
Okay.
This is without feather. This is with feather. You get the blurriness of the vignetting. You got it?
Yeah.
So these are the things you can do. And this is the camera calibration. This is nothing but your camera has this setting, right? Like it goes to camera portrait, camera vivid. These are settings just in your camera again. Okay, Adobe standard. So you can also select your own likings of RGB. Okay, so sRGB is nothing but shadow RGB. So that's why sRGB came into existence. Basically, it sets you the level of depth in the picture, the color depth. Okay, and this is the very important thing, snapshot. So if you like something, right, you can take a snapshot and save it in that first. Okay, so when you do some modifications, when you do some changes and you don't like it, oh no, it's not, it's bad, oh no, it's terrible, okay, I messed up, right? So I go back to the snapshot and load this snapshot. Okay, when I load that snapshot, whatever you've saved on that snapshot will come into existence. Okay, this is how we can edit it over here. Any questions on this part?
No, I think need to work on it to get more.
Yes, you should. Hello? Yes. So you need practice for this for sure. Next software we're going to talk about is Lightroom. Lightroom is basically a bulk editing tool. It's also from Adobe.
This Photoshop.
No, it's not Photoshop. It's Adobe's Lightroom. It's a different software. Photoshop is a different software.
Okay.
Photoshop takes a huge amount of time to open a RAW file. Okay, but Adobe Lightroom is very easy. Like you just let the location know for it. So you just go to for processing. You select the folder. It's 27, right? Select the folder. Searches. What? So select the pictures over here, and then click on input. So any file, JPEG file, everything gets opened here.
Okay.
You can see that it takes very little time for it to open all the pictures. Okay, so as I said you, it's a bulk editing picture. So I'm selecting and removing the pictures again. I'll just select some of them, not all of them. Just click on import again. And then let's say uncheck all. I'm only selecting NEF files. Okay, few of them. Okay, I'm clicking on import. So all these files are loaded. These are NEF files. Do you see that how fast it is loading?
Yeah.
So this is basically Lightroom. Lightroom is very soft software which is used to load. It cannot do everything which you can do in Photoshop. Okay, but what you can do is like adjusting the lights, colors, and all those things. You can also apply a specific color to a picture and apply it to all the pictures. You can sync all those things which you have done in a specific way. So for example, this picture, let's say this picture is good and I want to apply the same color to everyone. Then I do go to the develop mode. In a develop mode, what happens is like basically you will be able to do the same set of options which you are able to do in Adobe Photoshop. The same options. Okay, first it starts with the basic like white balance. Okay, auto toning like exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, black. Okay, you put it auto. The computer tells you what is good. Let's leave it like that. Just an example. Increase clarity or decrease clarity to the picture, and then increase a little bit of color. Here it's SSL, color, black and white. Okay, split toning, details, sharpening we spoke about, noise reduction we spoke about, right? So lens correction, remember about fisheye, the chromatic abbreviations, effects like vignetting, grains, remember, camera calibrations like camera, vivid, something like that. So let's go to vivid. Okay, and now what I'm doing is
what is that? Camera vivid, you know?
That's your picture control. In camera you get a picture control. You have so many options there in picture control, like vivid, portrait, landscape, all those picture control. So those same things will come here also in the Photoshop. That's why we say don't edit it there because it's useless. We can come and edit it here because we have so much time. You can just sit, relax, and then select which one is nice. Normally I go for vivid because it gives you more color from the picture. Okay, go to library again. So what you can do is like now select all the pictures and then select this picture. You see that this is highlighted now. So when you select all the picture, in that this is highlighted. If I'm selecting this picture, this is getting a highlighter. Do you see that?
Okay.
When I select this picture will get highlighted. We are already in select all. In that we are selecting one picture. Okay.
So the
Control A will select every picture, right?
Okay.
So now nothing is selected. Control A, everything is selected. In this selected picture, you need to select one highlighted picture. You see that this one is highlighted. Then you do this sync settings. When you click sync setting, it will tell you what settings you want me to sync. I can check none or check all. And then click on synchronize. So now what happens is like the same setting which is applied over here will be applied to all the pictures. and then I click on export. I selected all the pictures, again click on export. Okay, when I do that, it will export all these pictures with the current settings and export it to a folder whichever you like.
Okay.
You can also add your signature here. There is one option where you can add your signature. Okay, this is how you have to get this done. Very simple. Just click on export and you can see all the export is going on. It takes some time.
So like for wedding photographs and such photographs, bulk में जहाँ पे होता है we use this.
Exactly. Wedding photograph, you take a group of pictures where it is dark, group of picture where it is bright, and then apply one setting for it and synchronize all the pictures.
Okay.
Apply another setting for it, synchronize all the pictures to that one. Like that also you can do.
Okay. So first I need to segregate those photos.
Yes,
make
exactly.
folders
The
and then-
folders, first you segregate the folder which is clicked on that day. Second, you make darker pictures together, lighter pictures together,
and
medium pictures together,
okay.
and then open each of these in Lightroom. Bulk like 15. How many other photos you have? Hundreds, 200s, it could be anything. And then select one picture, edit it properly, and then select all, highlight that picture, and then sync setting. And then click on synchronize. It will synchronize the same setting to all the pictures.
Okay, so this can also be done like I go to Photoshop and do all the whatever is required.
What? Photo? Yeah, you want to correct the pimples and all, then you cannot apply it to everyone, right? So what you have to do? You have to go to Photoshop for that.
Okay, so अगर like suppose मैंने वो perfect किया lighting and background and whatever options are there and just took the photo, so it will only change the effect of other photos. That's it.
Yeah.
Effect.
And only the color, light. So if you see in this picture, see my signature is added here. Okay, this picture is perfect. This picture is not perfect. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's already bright and I added more brightness to it. So in turn it becomes more bright. But this picture is blurred. This is also blurred, but it doesn't matter. We just selected some pictures. But this picture came really fine because both are on the same tone.
Okay.
Okay, the first picture and this one is on the same tone.
Correct.
So all those, that's why I said you choose the picture which is more appropriate to the example picture. Okay, so that the dark pictures you can select it in a row and do a different color combinations to it. Light pictures you can select it in a row and you can do a different one. Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is like in the end you need Photoshop to edit the picture. So for example, I did the color modification. I want to check check out these things. Then obviously I need a Photoshop for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clear.
Understanding the difference between both the softwares. Lightroom is very simple and effective. Photoshop is very tedious and it can do a lot of options there. Okay, but you need a good system for it, and as well as you need so much patience also for learning Photoshop. Okay, but I am uploading as many videos as I can on my page. Just go to GeeksIdea editing and you will get all my tutorials on editing, so you can just go and read those, some of them. Just like it's a long one, hour and a half or sometimes 2 hours, so I have different scenarios also. So this is the same thing when we are creating that sky thingy, and people editing also is the part of it. This one is also. Okay. So please watch these videos. It will be very helpful for you. Okay.
So in a loft, what's the time?
It's around 4:30.
4:30.
Yes. I have to go now and set it up now. Everything.
Okay.